Hi, my name is Miranda Carney, and I am the editor-in-chief of Ball Bearings magazine. This semester, we are looking at the cost of college and issues related to the economics of education across the country. Keep up with our digital issues online as we prepare for the release of our print magazine in April. This week, we explore the impact a university has on a small town. Economically, small towns like Muncie wouldn't exist in the same way without universities. I am here with the senior editor of this week's stories, Sarah Nickham. Sarah, can you tell me about the different ways that small towns like Muncie benefit from universities?
Yeah, having a college town definitely has shaped the way that Muncie functions as a community. The businesses that pop up and the customers that they can expect to have is all based around, the transient nature of the students. So there's, an on-season and an off-season when the classes are in session and when they're not. Also, it's might even be a little bit easier for them to anticipate the needs of a demographic that's relatively constant. Another thing that Ball State provides is jobs for the community. They're the biggest employer in Muncie, and I know Ball Bearings has done research where they've showed that there are 2 full-time jobs, adult jobs in the community for every 1 student that attends Ball State. So that's pretty huge. Besides that, just culture. Students bring culture, and they help keep the community current, I think, keep ideas fresh.
Okay, so compared to somewhere like Indianapolis or somewhere bigger, why might a student choose to go to a small town like Muncie when it seems there's so many more opportunities in a bigger city?
Yeah, I think it's easier to see your impact in a smaller community. So there are obviously a lot of opportunities when you're in a bigger city. We had talked about this earlier. I went to school in Cincinnati, and there were a lot of volunteer opportunities, but they were all part of bigger groups, and you couldn't necessarily see the impact of your actions right away. So here in Muncie, where you've got smaller groups, like you can join a community garden, you can sit on the board of a committee to like the Living Lightly Fair, where you can actually see everything that you've done laid out before you when the final product comes around. And I think that's important for people, especially when they're building their portfolio and everything. They can point to an example and say, I had a big part in this, and they can take that with them after college.
Definitely. So what do you think is the biggest challenge in breaking up that barrier between the college and the community?
Students here, I've heard a lot of them say that, we don't go to that part of town, or, like they don't ride the bus because it's full of Muncie people, which is just something that I think is prevalent in any community where you're only there for a certain amount of time. You want to surround yourself with your peers, and Muncie's got its own history that students don't necessarily want to explore while they're here. And I know that Ball Bearings has done research with top people in the community that say it's just part of the culture here. It's something that's always existed, but it is getting better as we have partnerships like immersive learning courses, and things like that, volunteer opportunities where we actually put people into the community. It's easier for them to see how their story ties in with the Muncie story.
So in what other ways have you personally seen the impact Ball State has on Muncie?
Personally, I think the students who graduate from Ball State, some of them do stay, and they go on to do startups, like the Caffeinery was started by a Ball State grad. Be Here Now, which is obviously kind of a cultural hub in Muncie, was started, or is at least operated and owned by a Ball State grad. So culturally, I think they infuse a lot into the community, just by bringing fresh ideas and keeping it relatively current and young. I mentor a student through Project Leadership in Muncie, and she's made Dean List every semester. I'm not sure if it's directly because of my influence. I don't think so. She's very, very smart. But I have seen her kind of think about things a little differently, just having an adult mentor who can help her, adjust to college life, and kind of transition from, whatever background she's come from into growing as an adult in college and what she wants to do after. I think the volunteering is a really big piece for the community in Muncie. It's just so much cheaper to have students, and it's enriching for them too. So I think if we can view it as more of a partnership, the community helps students by affording them opportunities, and the students should want to help their community, because that's where they're going to live for 4 years.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you, Sarah. To view the rest of our stories about the impact of colleges on small towns, visit ballbearingsmag.com.